Hello, all my crafty people out there. It is time for our weekly project. If you haven't been here before, my name is Stephanie, and I upcycle clothing from my local thrift stores, generally making more clothing, but sometimes making accessories. In this case, we're going to be using something that was never clothing, and we have these two really nice Tommy Bahama pillow shams. Very springy, very summery, because the temps they be rising. It's going to be in the 80s tomorrow already. So let's making something nice and comfy for the summer. And if you like this kind of content, by all means follow along. Let me know what you think, like, share, and don't forget to subscribe. And I'll catch y'all at the table. Okay, everybody. Here are our two king-size pillow shams. They're Tommy Bahama and they're 100% cotton, and the back is this nice white, which we're going to use to line our project. Our project is going to be a quick pair of elastic top summer pants. Shorts, because it's hot down here. I'm just using this old McCall's 2101. Honestly, they probably still have this in print or something similar. It's just an elastic band. It's got pants, two different lengths of shorts, capris. It's a good all-in-one kind of pattern. You can also use something that you already have, like a pair of shorts you already have, to make this pattern. But I just didn't have a pair that I really wanted to use that was going to be similar. This is just a plain piece of white cotton, but it's a little bit thicker, kind of like a shirt fabric. I'm going to use it for the pockets. Yes, we're including pockets. Super excited. This is our 1-inch elastic hanging out over here. And then this is our front and back. Simple, simple, simple. Now, I've already sized this one. I'm short, as we all know. So I took up this inch in the length of the short, and I also folded up the 1.25 hem that they're allowing for. The reason I did that is we're going to use the bottom of our pillow sham to put the bottom of our shorts together. We're not going to have to hem. I like to avoid a hem. So when you do these adjustments, just make sure that these two pieces, obviously in the crotch line here, still match lengthwise, and that your sides match. Of course, mine don't right now, but that's another side you want to match. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold up. I've already folded the 1.25 hem. Now I'm just going to fold my little alteration line here, and you can follow the dotted lines. That's all you need to do. So I take it, fold it like this first. Now I turn it over and I fold that second line like this. Make sure it's nice and straight. There we go. And then when I turn it over, I just put a couple of pins in it, or one pin in it, just to make sure it doesn't move when I'm pinning it to my fabric. And again, I want to make sure that these two side seams match, and they do. So let's get to cutting. I'm going to lay out my fabric, and I'll show you how I'm going to cut those out. Okay, I just wanted to show you how I'm going to lay this out. These are the two shams, and they are actually the wrong sides, where you put the pillow in. I'm facing those together. And the reason I'm doing that is I'm concerned about the design. It's not super problematic, but I want the design to go like this. And I also want it to be similar, obviously, on the front and the back. So if I do it this way, then both this and this are lined up, and it's better than just folding it in half and getting two sides for each one. So I'm going to pin this down, and it is going to go through the pleat in the back where the two meet, I'm going to go ahead and just cut it out, and then I'll worry about trimming away what I don't need for the lining. And that should be, we probably have enough for our pockets too, so we may reconsider the white for the pockets, or at least one side of it. We'll see. Okay, I cut out the four pockets. There's 2 for each side. And I went ahead and marked my notches. I didn't cut the notches, but I just marked them. These on the sides will line up with these on the sides of the pants. And I also marked them. You can barely see them, but I marked them as well, just so I could have an easier time lining it up, because the top of the pocket is going to fall underneath the waistline. And I want it to fall properly, so just take our pins off our pockets here. And I did iron, of course, before I cut these. So now I have 2 pockets for each side. And what we'll have to do is let's just take the front first. This is the back. Let's just take the front. And what we will do is I'm going to go over to the serger. Just take them like this so we can see both of them. I'm going to take them over to the serger, and I'm going to serge these down instead of doing the basting stitch that they're talking about. Because what's going to happen when I do that is I'm going to serge this side, and then when I go to sew all the way around the pocket and push it in, then I won't have to worry about seams fraying or anything like that. You could do this with a zigzag. You could do it with French seams. You could do it if you just didn't want. You don't even have to do it, honestly. So see, our pockets will fall right here. You want to make sure they're lined up. My notches may not be perfect, so you always want to line them up together to make sure that they're perfectly aligned. All right, and then we'll also do the same thing with the back. And again, we're just going to serge down this side, and I'm going to go ahead and serge the tops as well, so when I turn them under, I won't have to do any kind of double hemming. You know, the little roll, 1/4 inch roll, that kind of thing. Don't have to do that if you go ahead and serge across or zigzag across the top. And this is the back. And again, we just want to make sure that we line these up as best we can. And we might want to check to make sure they line up in the back as well. I mean, in the front as well. So here's our 2 pieces. And we could tell, we just line the top up. Need a little bit more there. And then I'm going to take one of my fronts and one of my backs and just make sure, see how they don't line up? I'm going to make sure they line up. I think one might be a little taller than the other. Might have to just cut off the top. So we want to make sure these line up. Most important part on this, because we're saving the hem, is to make sure that the hem matches, because we can always serge the top off. I've got excess fabric lined into all of it. So that's those. And let's make sure these also match. Again, matching the hems more than I'm worried about the top. And these line up pretty good. Okay, now that we've got these pockets and these sides, again, I'm going to have to take off a little bit off the top, no problem. Just want to, we're going to go serge down this line on each side, all 4 sides, and serge the top off on all sides. Not off, but make sure they're nice and even. Okay, again, I just wanted to explain, I'm putting the pockets on the short sides, and all you have to do, you would usually just baste them here and then turn them out to sew the sides, but I'm just going to go ahead and serge down this side, each side, and that'll take care of any ravells, and also join all three pieces. And then I'll turn the pocket out, and you'll sew down the seam and catch the pocket all the way around. So just Ellen will also be serging the top right up there, just to make sure that it's, you know, nice and clean when we turn it under for our casing for our elastic. Okay, before we sew down our pocket, or kind of sew in, anyway, before we sew the pocket, we're going to need to mark our little darts or dots on each side. And this is the front piece, but it wouldn't matter. Both of the sides are the same as far as where these markings are. And what this is going to tell us is how far we need to come down here and up here. So this will be, we will seam from this dot up to the top of the waistline, and then we will seam from this point of the pocket, not this top, but this point, all the way around to this dot, and then go back down. That way this part will be the opening to our pocket when we put them inside, and this part up here will get caught in the waistline when we turn it over to make the casing for the elastic. We've put the pockets in the sides when we sewed the side seam in, and I have pressed it towards the front of the pair of shorts. So now what we're going to do is we're going to turn them this way, right sides together, and we're going to sew these inseams on both pair. So we'll sew this inseam here, and then once we've sewn that on both of them, we'll be able to match the crotch line front and back and sew that together, and we'll only have our casing left. So let's do that. I'm going to put this through the serger. You can do this with a regular sewing machine, no problem. I would probably recommend a little extra stitching, especially when it comes to the crotch line, just for wear and tear. But regardless, it does not matter how you do it. Sewing machine, serger, French seams, whatever you would like to do. Turning one of them right side out and the other one inside out and facing them together. You see they're facing right sides together. So we have this U shape, which is the crotch line, to sew all the way up and around. So once we do that, then we'll be working on the casing. Make sure you put your pockets, fold them to the right side, the front side, and get them underneath this this casing. And I also did a 1.5 instead of a 1 1/4 like it was suggesting, because these are turning out a little large, and I'm just taking up a 1/2 inch that way. So let me get to sewing around. And oh, I'm going to start in the back here where I can put my elastic and not worry too much about the way it looks. I'm going to move my needle all the way over to the left and sew around. Time for our specialist equipment. Good old safety pin. We're going to run this elastic through and see how big they end up being. I think they're going to be large. But I will still show y'all the video because the basic design and construction is great for anything from thrifted sheets to thrifted pillow shams. Okay, all my crafty friends. Not too bad for, probably wouldn't take you an hour to make. Just some plain shorts. Again, you can make them longer, you can make capris, you can make pants. There's even, on this particular pattern, there's even some little cargo pockets that go on the side. So if you want to do something fun, fancy, go right ahead. I just put a white blouse on with this just to show you it's pretty simple. Pockets work. And like I said, easy project, pillow sham, sheets, whatever you can pick up. If you like this kind of content and you had a good time, like, subscribe, let me know what you think, and don't forget to share. And I'll catch y'all on the flip side of our next project.